Hey, what's up, guys?
Hi, Jake. Welcome to Fountain Life.
Hey, how are you?
I'm Alana. I'm your care coordinator. It's very nice to have you with us
today. So nice to meet you. Guys, today we are at Fountain Life and we are doing my executive health scan. If you're not familiar what executive health is, it's a series of tests that all look at preventable diseases. Things like heart disease, cancer. We're going to be doing a full body MRI. We're going to be doing a CCTA scan, DEXA scan, bone density, muscles, barrages of tests, and things like lab panels for omega-3 quartile, besides just standard tests. So this is way more comprehensive than an annual physical. I have been looking to do an executive health scan for about 5 years now. The reason that I have waited is that not all executive health scans are created equal. Some of them have the correct MRI, some of them they skip in other areas. I wanted something that was the complete package, and to be honest, something that was convenient. I'm in Harrison, New York right now. I'm from Westchester. This is right outside of New York City. I don't have to fly to Cleveland. I have to go to the Mayo Clinic. I don't have to go out, take an airplane and go travel somewhere. It's right at home for me. And these guys are just the utmost professionals. Listen, honestly, is also gonna help me. And that's the truth. Today I get to go do an executive health scan. We get to film it. We get to talk about it. I get to share my journey with you. I am so pumped to do this.
All right, so now I'm going to be bringing you back to your suite where you can keep all your belongings.
Great.
This will serve as like home base when you're not doing any of the testing.
Amazing.
And here we are.
Oh, this is beautiful.
This is your suite. We have some clothes here for you to change into for the imaging portion. I will step out and then come back in to go over everything.
Perfect. Okay, I just got back from my MRI. It was a 60-minute experience, and to be honest with you, for 59 minutes of it, my eyes were closed. Everybody was super courteous. Everybody was really kind. You walk in, you change your clothing, you lay down in the tube. It's very tight. And people had warned me about that. They said the MRI tube is extremely tight. If you're claustrophobic, you can freak out. My way of dealing with it, again, just close my eyes, just compartmentalize. I grew up poor. I know how to suffer. And I also routinely go to the gym and really push myself. And chances are, if you follow me on this channel, you're also used to going to the gym and also pushing yourself past your comfort zone. So all I did was I closed my eyes, compartmentalized. They put me through the tube. They did a scan of my brain, my head initially. That was about 20 minutes. I could have fallen asleep during it. Other than the noise, there's quite a bit of noise. They put earplugs in. But outside of the noise, you're just sitting there with your eyes closed. It would be very easy to snooze off. 20 minutes goes by, they pull you back out of the tube. You can kind of regain mental fortitude. I didn't. I just kept my eyes closed. They put something over top of my abdominals. Then they put me back through the tube, and then they began to scan my torso. I had to hold my breath during this portion of it, so that was a little bit of an inconvenience, I won't lie. The longest breath hold that I counted was 33 seconds. I counted during it. So you're having to hold your breath intermediately. Again, that's a little bit of a drag. After that's done, another 20 minutes, they pull you back out, and then they put something over top of my thighs, the same object. They put me back through to do an MRI of my thighs. Really simple again. They pull you back out, 60 minutes all in. 59 of it, my eyes were closed. It's delayed gratification, right? I have to suffer temporary in order to receive something that I want long term. So that was really my MRI experience. Again, these guys are complete professionals here at Fountain of Life. I've really enjoyed the experience so far, considering I was just in a tiny tube having radiation throughout my entire body. The next thing that we're gonna go do is we're gonna change. I'm in my suite here now. I'm gonna change into some clothes. We're gonna get labs done. Really can't wait to get through my labs. And then I actually am getting my CCTA scan, which is the other thing I'm really excited to do here today. And then I can finally have lunch. So let's get through that so I can finally eat. I have not ate since my egg whites early this morning. Okay, so now we're going in with the nurses. We're gonna do some lab work. I get labs done all the time, guys. So for me, this is just like incidental. Remember I talked about it's like a la carte. There's some things you're gonna want when you come to do these procedures, and there's some things that you care less about. All right, lab work. Oh, look at this. Oh my gosh. I love this, man. Everything is state of the art. Everything's gorgeous. Okay, so now we're doing my blood work. I am in this size medium shirt here today. I talk about this all the time, but you should be getting your labs done annually. If you're 30, 35 years old, if you have a family, if you're someone who has a net worth, what are you doing with your life? Like the number one way that you're gonna detect things like atherosclerosis, issues with your kidneys, you're gonna be able to detect issues with your pancreas is through your labs. So I get my labs done all the time. I actually had my labs done 2 weeks ago, which I know sounds funny, but I did it is I wanted to make sure that my kidneys were fine because we're going to be doing a CCTA scan here today. So I get my labs done at least quarterly. I'm not suggesting that for most people. I'm on TRT. I'm very open about that. I'm also on things like metformin. You know, I take my health extremely seriously and very active. So I do it quarterly. For most of you, you should be doing it annually. And for some of you, especially if you have something like high cholesterol, you should be doing it biannually. And for most of you, will be covered through the Preventative Care Act. Today, I'm here with Britt, and she's going to be doing my labs here at Fountain of Life. So we're doing my blood pressure right now and my pulse. I'm about to hulk through this cuff. What do we get?
Okay, 137.79.
So 137.79. I'll tell you that most of the time, now mind you, I'm filming right now, I'm running around. Normally my blood pressure is around 125/70. That's my normal blood pressure, but either one of those are fine.
I'm gonna have you lift your shirt up. I'll put these stickies all over you so we can do an EKG. And then while that's running, this test here is called the cardio wave. It checks your heart rate variability. Just try not to move or talk once I put that probe on. Okay, you can chat now while I'm setting up. Your arm down here, this is the heart rate variability one. Takes about 3 minutes, okay?
On this test, my mean heart rate was 76. My normal resting, guys, is like 64, somewhere in there. Again, I'm active right now. The test score, I did like good. There's like good, great, or good, or optimal. I was just in the good range for heart rate variability.
Correct.
So heart rate, very, very important for a number of reasons. Heart rate variability, I think we're still learning all the importance of it. VO2 max currently though, my VO2 max is 53. And I was kind of interested to see the data that we got back here. And also was very happy to see that the EKG was normal. Awesome. Okay.
We're gonna do the same thing 4 times over. Every round takes about 20 seconds. Nothing beneath you is gonna move. It's measuring to see how much you sway and move.
Okay.
So when you hear the beep come from this computer, you're gonna close your eyes and remain as still as possible. So the idea is to have a lower score than 50 for your cumulative average, because that would put you in the moderate to high risk.
What's great?
0, but it's not possible because you're breathing, your heart is beating.
This is why I said stress is my #1 issue, right? It's gonna bother me. I was joking. I said, oh, I'm okay with my heart rate variability being good. And I'm like, I gotta lie awake at night thinking about it. All right, let's see if I can get closer, under a 20.
Okay, awesome. 10-point improvement on that one.
Great.
Are you ready for the last one?
Yes.
Here we go. Okay, great. You can step down.
So probably around a 30. We got a 38 and a 35.
And it also analyzes, so it takes into account male versus female, how old you are, height and weight on this one.
Right.
And they take a look at the pattern. So if your squiggles were jetting out all over the place, that might indicate that, hey, something neurologically might be off, or your muscles are not evenly balanced. But yours are all pretty centrally located.
Right. There's something off for sure about me, guys, but it's not my muscles.
All right, we're gonna do grip strength next. Squeeze as tight as you can and maintain it 5 seconds, okay? All right, whenever you're ready, go ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, release. Awesome. Okay, so you're in the very strong range for that.
Right.
There you go.
That I'm not surprised about.
If you scored weak on that, I would be very forgiving. All right, other side for you.
All right, let's see.
48.6, so that one's in the normal range.
Wow. Big difference.
Are you right-handed?
I am right-handed.
Okay.
Do you usually see a huge difference between the two?
Yes. Usually the dominant hand is always stronger.
Wow.
Like for myself, my left hand is just like a decoration. I have almost no strength or dexterity in it, so it's terrible.
That's very common that somebody will be strong. Wow. All right, so we did, so far, EKG, we did grip strength, we did balance.
This is called the polygenic risk analysis. It's sent off to Boston Heart. Okay. So it's done via the saliva. Okay. You're gonna spit into this tube until the liquid portion of the saliva reaches that red line.
So from there to there?
Yes.
What is this for?
So this takes a look to see genetically what you potentially could develop. It doesn't say if you have a high association in this that you're definitely going to develop it, but also you can develop things that show that you have no association with it. So it's more a range to see what you could potentially develop.
This was I always wanted to be videotaped spitting into something continuously. Like this is a dream come true for me.
Very impressive.
All right, I did this what did that take me, 2 minutes?
Yeah, usually people take a long time.
Takes most people 5 minutes. So I am capable of generating a lot of saliva, all right? My HRV may be only normal, but I can certainly spit with the best of them. And this is the biggest thing, guys. Like obviously there's a lot of stuff here today I'm doing. To be honest with you, this is not something I'm very excited about outside of the omega-3s because I get it done so regularly. But for a lot of people, this is something that they do not do, and you need to get your labs done. And sometimes even basic panels aren't enough. Like if you're going to your doctor and they're not looking at your vitamin D, I don't even understand what's going on. 70% of people are deficient in vitamin D. Just simply looking at total cholesterol, low density LDL cholesterol isn't enough. You should be looking at apolipoprotein A, apolipoprotein B. You should be looking at your very low density lipoprotein. So you really want somebody that is very cardio focused on your labs, and you also want to have somebody that's looking at your hormone panels, especially as you begin to age.
You don't pass out, do you?
No.
Okay.
I didn't get this size being afraid of needles.
Yeah, it's true.
PRT, it's legal.
All right, so this is going to be the lengthiest part, is the collection.
Okay, so right now we're doing an olfactory test. Basically, Brittany is scratching and I am sniffing, and I have to tell you what I'm smelling. So I just smelled chocolate. She put it right up against me. It was funny, when I smelt it, I couldn't exactly tune into what it was. It was a very clear, obvious smell, but I had to look at the little, next to it, they have a list of things it could possibly be, and then it was obviously chocolate. So we're gonna go for the next one. And the reason we're doing this olfactory test, is because sometimes losing sense of smell can actually be an indication of Parkinson's. I had no idea. They just explained that to me today, but it's really cool, and again, something really interesting to look at.
All right, just to let you know, this one is tricky.
Okay.
It tricks a lot of people. I got it incorrect myself, but try to think of candy or artificial flavoring.
So interesting. It's very clear, right?
Yeah.
It's banana.
Yeah.
It's funny, when I smelled that, I was like, what is this? And it was obviously banana. So really interesting.
Alrighty, so while this is running in, I
have saline running in now. Why do we have saline?
Just to help keep you nice and hydrated, keep your heart rate,
honestly,
blood pressure in a good range.
That's been the hardest part today. Today's been amazing, awesome experience, but definitely hydration is a factor. So if you can do one of the earlier testings at these centers, I would recommend you do, which is something I always do with Bloodwork too. I'm with the Dr. Shapiro, and he's going to be asking me a series of health questions. So far, I've had my MRI, I've had my labs done, I've done some things like grip tests, etc. Moving forward, we're going to do my DEXA and my CCTA scan. But I'm really excited to talk to Dr. Shapiro and hopefully learn some things, and hopefully you'll get a chance to learn some things as well by listening in.
If you could change 3 or 4 things in your health or your body, sort of like goals, what would you like in a program like this? Because this is an annual program. It's not just a one-time shot. It's more like an annual longevity program. And usually it's not 1 year, it's like a 5-year plan. But what would you like to accomplish this next year?
I think for me, the number one thing that I'm most concerned about for me is heart health. I'm very on top of it. I have a VO2 max of 53. Cholesterol is great. My coronary calcium scan came back at 0. I know that's not enough, but I mean, the basic stuff that I can see so far has all been good. But that's the number one thing that I'm really
So number 1, heart health. What about 2 and 3?
2, stress. I'm not great about stress. I am a very stressful person. I'm very type A, and that's part of what makes me good. I have a chip on my shoulder, and no matter how rosy my life has got, I still am really driven. Third thing, I think those are by far and away the 2 major things that are important to me. I don't know if there's really a third thing until I see data come back. So
now we're going to bring you to the DEXA scan. We're going to look at your bone, muscle, fat, and then we're going to bring you to the cardiac test to look at your coronary arteries.
Awesome. I am so pumped to be here. It's like a bucket list item for me. I think it's incredibly important that people go ahead and get DEXA scans because it is close to the gold standard for actually finding out your body fat percentile. It certainly is an amazing way for bone density, muscle mass, and visceral fat. Visceral fat is the fat that's around your abdominals, that's deeper within, that is directly linked to things like atherosclerosis and diabetes. So basically cardiovascular disease. Once it has this information, my bone density, my muscle mass, my visceral fat, it's able to extrapolate additional data. And you're gonna have to bear with me because I'm gonna be using my iPad a little bit today because they actually sedated me. So from the information, they're gonna extrapolate things like my resting metabolic rate, my appendicular lean mass index, and my fat-free mass index as well. So these are metrics that we can use for a number of reasons that are very, very helpful, and just additional data that's really, really useful, especially if you're somebody like me that really cares about what is my body fat percentile, Is my bone density actually holding up? Like, how will I age? Because both of these are really important as we get past like the heart attack ages of like 40s, 50s, and 60s. And then you start getting into, am I gonna fall? Am I actually physically strong enough that I'm not gonna have hip issues or I'm not gonna have knee issues? So this gives you really valuable data that you wanna have when you age. And I talk about this all the time, but like muscle mass is like your IRA, because it's great when you're young, but you're really gonna fucking need it when you retire. Because as you start to age, our hormones change and lifestyle changes, and we are way less likely to have muscle on us. We just finished with the DEXA scan, super non-invasive. You simply lay down, they prop your feet up in certain ways. The longest scan took 6 minutes, but really cool experience, and we should have the intel back in about an hour. I am now gonna go do my CCTA scan. It's a coronary scan, but I'm excited to see things like bone density and stuff like that. In terms of muscle mass, I know I'm gonna be in like the upper range. And still, again, like I said, this is a bucket list item for me, so I'm really excited to share these results with you guys momentarily. Okay, final test of the day. CCTA. This machine is gorgeous. I've taken a couple pictures on Instagram and posted up in stories. Like 30,000 people looked at it. It's really, really fucking cool. This is a coronary computated topography angiography. And what this is gonna do is it's gonna take a 3D image of my heart. Your heart, it beats, it moves. And so it's very difficult to get imagery of. So this uses a very advanced 3D imagery, multiple x-rays shooting from multiple angles. And then on top of it, it's also gonna take a look at my blood vessels, and it's gonna see if there's not just calcified plaque, but any plaque in general building up in my blood vessels. So really, really excited about this. The leading cause of death is atherosclerosis. I have always got my labs done, looked at where my cholesterol's at. I've even had a coronary calcium scan that had me at a score of 0. But the reality is I have a family, I have employees, I have people who are dependent on me. I wanted to do a deeper dive, and that's really one of the major reasons I came to Fountain Life here today. With my coronary calcium scan, I got a score of 0. But again, that's not enough. You can't just leave it there. Again, for me, I wanted to go a step further, and that's why I'm here today. On top of the CCTA scan, we're also going to be doing a low-dose lung scan. This is going to look for any sort of nodules and help detect the possibility of cancer. 2 things to be mindful of. When we do this, we may find some nodules and they may be completely benign. That's perfectly fine. You don't want to freak out about anything that you find, whether you're going to get your blood work or whether you're going to do preventative testing. Instead, you want to use that to empower you so that you can track the trajectory of it. Now you know, hey, potentially there might be an issue in the future, and you can track it and you can stay along with it, and you have the ability to catch it early and fight it. And the second thing, I talk to so many people, they don't want to go see their doctor, they don't want to get blood work because they're scared of what they're going to find out. That is the wrong mentality to have. You want early detection. When you detect something early, you can very likely treat it. It's when you find it late that you're screwed. That's when things get really bad. So the earlier you can detect these things, the better off you are. Knowledge is power, and being able to detect these things early is going to put you in a position where you can deal with it.
All right, table's gonna move.
We just did my coronary scan. Really, really not a bad experience. I think for most people, they'd be way more freaked out about the MRI. The only thing about this experience is they're putting the contrast dye through you, so it's kind of a weird sensation through your arm and then your chest, and then, not to be too graphic, but I did get a tingling in my balls as it went through. But otherwise, really enjoyable experience. Everything here, really white glove. And then finishing up our day, we're gonna go over to the DEXA scan and look at the readings on that. But this is another just incredible experience I had. I'm so happy to have this information, and I'm really excited to share with you guys what I get from my CCTA scan. All right, it's 4 o'clock. If you remember the beginning of this day, I ate egg whites at like 5 a.m. I have not ate for 12 hours, so my plan is to go train legs in about an hour, but right now I'm gonna get some quality calories in. About some carrots, some raspberries, some guacamole. They were kind enough to order this steak and egg burrito for me on sourdough. So I'm gonna really enjoy myself, get some calories in, and then we'll sit down with the doctor and talk about what we do this time. Okay, guys, that is our day at Fountain Life, Montana. Thank you so much.
Yes.
The best. I'll give you a hug.
Yes, I'm so glad we had you.
Really, honestly, guys, we were talking about this, but it sounds crazy to say, but if you can afford to do things like this, you should. If you are in a position where you can go get executive testing, you absolutely should. And if you're considering it, again, the reason that I went with Fountain Life was because it was not just a one-day scan, it was a membership, and because they checked every single one of the boxes that I was really looking for. So thank you again for the opportunity. It was really incredible.
Amazing.
Awesome. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. If you like what you saw today, hit subscribe. I put out one long format piece of content each and every single day. This is a look at my entire day at an executive health scan, but we're going to be placing individual videos up looking in depth at like the MRI I did, the CCTA scan I did, all of the tests that I did individually. Also Instagram, that's where the majority of my following is. If you're not following me there, you can also follow Fountain Life there as well. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Guys, have a great day. I'm going to go fucking train some legs.